Welcome to a recorded tutorial looking at the Virginia Adult Education Enrollment and Performance Data for program year 2018-2019. Let's look at the enrollment data first. This slide shows us enrollment by program type. 26% of participants in program year 2018-19 were served in Adult Basic Education or ABE programs. 16% were served in Adult Secondary Education programs, and 44% were served in English as a Second Language program, 14% in Integrated English Literacy and Civics Education programs. ESL and IELCE combined total was 58%. The total statewide unique student enrollment was 18,013. This slide shows us enrollment by age category. 5% of participants in program year 2018-19 were ages 16 to 18 at intake. 18% were ages 19 to 24. 54% were ages 25 to 44. 14% were ages 45 to 54. 4% were ages 55 to 59, and 5% were age 60 and over. The total statewide unique student enrollment was 18,013, and just as a comparison, enrollment in 2017-18 was 18,096, making the 2018-19 unique enrollment of 18,013 represent a less than 1% decrease. On this slide, let's look at enrollment by ethnicity and race. 13% of participants in program year 2018-19 identified themselves as Asian, 21% identified as Black or African American, 42% identified as Hispanic or Latino, 22% identified as white, and 2% identified another or two or more ethnicities or race categories. The total statewide unique enrollment, again, was 18,013. The next set of slides looks at Integrated Education and Training, or IET, a special category of programming. On this slide, we're looking at the providers in the state who offered Integrated Education and Training in 2018-19. 10 programs were offered through Plugged in Virginia funding. 14 IELCE providers, that's all of our IELCE providers, offered IET training. Adult and basic and secondary education programs offered 14 different types of IET, and IET was offered by 2 programs in correctional education settings. Some of the top credentials earned in 2018-19 included Certified Nurse's Assistant, ServSafe Manager, Commercial Driver's License, Certified Medical Assistant, NCCER Core, and Certified Logistics Technician and Associate. The next slide shows us that our IET enrollment, share of total enrollment, has increased significantly. In 2017-2018, 3.1% of our total student enrollment participated in IET. But on the right side of this graph, you can see that in 2018-2019, 5.6% of our total unique student enrollment participated in IET. On slide 9, we're going to look at IET by program type. Where were these students being served? So in 2018-19, over 21% of students in adult secondary education program type participated in IET programming, and just over 11% of IELCE students participated in IET programming. Only 1.9% of students in adult basic education program type participated in IELCE programming, and less than 0.25% of students in English language acquisition program type participated. On slide 10, you can see participation by age group. So in 2018-2019, of the enrolled students in the 16 to 18 age range, just over 5% participated in IET programming. The greatest participation came from the 19 to 24-year-old age group, with 7.72% participating in IET programming. Both the 25 to 44 and 45 to 54-year-old age groups had over 5% participation in IET. Now let's look at our performance data. This slide 12 shows us the common performance measures across all core partners in the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. The slide shows which of the measures are being collected for Title II, Adult Education. As you can see, all but measurable skill gain are considered baseline measures. Measurable skill gains, however, is a target negotiated between the state office and the federal office. This slide shows that the negotiated MSG targets for Virginia in 2018-2019 and 2019-2020, 43% and 44% respectively. Note the national average target for MSG is 45%. That's what the federal office has negotiated with the Office of Management and Budget for the national target. Let's look at slide 13, MSG Attainment Rate by Educational Functioning Level for 2018-2019. Adult Education MSG Attainment in Program Year 2018-2019 is reported by EFL on these bars. The red horizontal line at 43% represents the negotiated statewide target for 2018-2019. The EFL with the highest MSG attainment rate, 44.1%, is ESL Level 3. Note that this calculation is taken from the total number of periods of participation, equaling 18,289, not unique enrolled students. That's new for us this year. Overall, Virginia attained an MSG rate of 35.8%, well below our negotiated target. Slide 14 represents MSG attainment rate by EFL for post-tested students. Adult Education MSG attainment is reported by EFL for students with a valid pre- and post-test in 2018-2019. The EFL with the highest rate of gain, 81.5%, is ESL Level 2. The statewide post-test rate was 53.3%. Slide 15. MSG attainment by age category in Program Year 2018-2019 is reported for each category. The red horizontal line, again, at 43%, represents the negotiated statewide target. The age category with the highest MSG attainment rate, 41.2%, is the 16 to 18-year-old category. On slide 16, we see MSG attainment by race ethnicity in Program Year 2018-2019. The red horizontal line at 43% represents the negotiated statewide target. The category with the highest MSG attainment rate, 44%, is more than one race. On slide 17, we're looking at MSG attainment rate by employment barriers. WIOA defines 13 categories of barriers to employment shown on this slide. Note the category of English language learner, low literacy, and individuals facing substantial cultural barriers represents all participants in the AFLA Title II program, so we do not disaggregate for this category, and it shows the state average performance of 35.8%. MSG attainment is reported by self-reported employment barrier for each employment barrier category. The red horizontal line at 43%, of course, represents the negotiated statewide target. The employment barrier with the highest MSG attainment rate, 41.6%, is students who self-identified as long-term unemployed. On slide 18, we're looking at the trends of Virginia's GED data. In 2018-2019, there were 3,980 GED passers. Virginia's pass rate has matched or exceeded the national pass rate for the past 5 years. In slide 19, we're looking at Virginia's on-time high school graduation rate for the past 5 years. This rate continues to increase, meaning fewer young adults are leaving high school without a diploma. On slide 20, we're looking at the National External Diploma Program. This is an option that is offered in 12 sites around the Commonwealth. Last year, 54 individuals completed their high school diploma through this competency-based program. The last slide is our contact information. Please let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to answer them and to talk with you about our performance in Virginia. Thank you.